Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world or whatever time you're watching this video. So, guys, I just want to say congratulations to Auntie Donna on hosting her first ever Caribbean Jerk Fest at Brush Park, Mount Vernon yesterday, Saturday, July 5th. It was a huge success. You did amazingly. Congratulations, Auntie Donna. And it was nice to see the wonderful turnout you had and lots of support from, your friends as well as, lots of Planketarians, who came out to support you. Now, guys, I wanted to just ask a quick question. Based on what has been happening to Auntie Donna over the past 6 years and what has been continuing to happen, especially what transpired yesterday at the event that she was hosting, do you think Auntie Donna has a case for stalking and harassment? Now, this is not, where, lawyers call you into court. Now, this is where these charges now are criminal offenses. I want you to listen to the definitions, and these are from U.S. sources, and tell me if these cases apply to Auntie Donna and if she has a case. Guys, please leave me your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and catch you on the next video. Stalking and harassment charges in the United States vary by state and can range from misdemeanors to felonies. Generally, stalking involves a pattern of unwanted behavior that causes a person to fear for their safety, while harassment can encompass a broader range of behaviors intended to annoy, alarm, or abuse someone. Penalties can include fines, imprisonment, and restraining orders. The definition for stalking is typically defined as a course of conduct directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety or the safety of others. Federal law 18 U.S.C. 2261A defines interstate stalking as traveling across state lines or entering or leaving Indian country with the intent to unalive, injure, harass, or place someone under surveillance and causing them to fear DEATH or serious bodily injury or substantial emotional distress. State laws. All states have laws against stalking with varying definitions and penalties. Some states classify stalking as a misdemeanor, while others escalate it to a felony based on the severity of the behavior or prior offenses. Penalties. The penalties for stalking can include imprisonment from months to years, fines, and restraining orders. The definition of harassment. Harassment is generally defined as a course of conduct intended to annoy, alarm, abuse, torment, or embarrass another person. In the case of state law, each state has its own laws regarding harassment, often including provisions for cyberstalking and online harassment. Penalties for harassment can include fines, imprisonment, and restraining orders. Now, let us look at some information from the Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center. So they define stalking as while legal definitions of stalking vary between jurisdictions, a good working definition of stalking is a pattern of behavior directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety or the safety of others or suffer substantial emotional distress. Now, let us look at the breakdown of all of this. So, stalking victimization. An estimated 13.5 million people are stalked in a 1-year period in the United States. Nearly 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men have experienced stalking victimization at some point in their lifetime. More than half of all victims of stalking indicated that they were stalked before the age of 25, and nearly 1 in 4 were stalked before the age of 18. The vast majority of stalking victims are stalked by someone they know, 40% by a current or former intimate partner, 42% by an acquaintance. 69% of female and 80% of male stalking victims were threatened with physical harm. People ages 18 to 24 experience the highest rate of stalking victimization, and this is among adults. Stalkers use many tactics, including making unwanted phone calls, approaching the victim or showing up in places when the victim does not want them to, following and watching the victim, sending unwanted text, photos, emails, and messages through social media, sending unwanted gifts, using technology to monitor, track, and or spy on the victim. Almost half of stalking victims experience at least one unwanted contact per week. 11% of stalking victims have been stalked for 5 years or more. More than twice as many victims are stalked with technology than without. Impact of stalking on victims. 40% of stalking victims fear not knowing what will happen next. 29% of stalking victims fear it will never stop. 1 in 8 employed stalking victims lose time from work as a result of their victimization, and more than half lose 5 days or more. 5 days of work or more. 1 in 7 stalking victims move as a result of their victimization. Stalking victims suffer much higher rates of depression, anxiety, insomnia, and social dysfunction than people in the general population. Now let us look at the stalking offenders. 2 in 3 of stalkers pursue their victims at least once per week, many daily, using more than one method. 78% of stalkers use more than one tactic. Weapons are used to harm or threaten victims in 1 out of 5 cases. Almost 1 in 3 of stalkers have stalked before. Intimate partner stalkers are the most likely stalkers to approach, threaten, and harm their victims. Stalking laws. Stalking is a crime under the laws of the 50 states, District of Columbia, U.S. territories, and federal government. Fewer than 1/3 of states classify stalking as a felony in all circumstances, including on the first offense. More than half of states classify stalking as a felony upon the second or subsequent offense, or when the crime involves aggravating factors. Aggravating factors may include possession of a deadly weapon, violation of a court order, or condition of probation or parole, victim under 16 years, or same victim as prior occasions. Now, this information was taken from the Stalking Fact Sheet, which was produced by the Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center.